As an Amazon seller, I found the Inc. magazine article, An American Small Business Horror Story, fascinating. It covered a brand as they worked and sold on Amazon and the counterfeits, the hijackers, all these details and these things going wrong, and things that we actually face as third-party sellers as well. There was also some new updated statistics here, and it covered some recent firings in Amazon in the month of December. Let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome back. If you're new to this channel, my name is Jake Diego, and on this channel I talk about ways you can improve your Amazon business, as well as things I have going on in mine. Also, some personal development things, and some goals to hold myself accountable. In this video, I want to talk about American small business horror story. It sounds really scary, doesn't it? Well, it was scary for this company called Brush Hero. After an appearance on Shark Tank, they started getting some 1- and 2-star reviews on their Amazon listing. And if you want to find a copy of this article, just go to Google, type in an American small business horror story, ended up with all these 1- and 2-star reviews. When they looked into it further, they got the items in the mail, saw that they looked the same, they had the same instruction manuals, a lot of the same materials. However, they were made in China, and their product wasn't made in China. So they noticed there was something going on here, but they were having a heck of a time working through the Amazon channels. And as we know, a lot of processes in Amazon are super automated. So what the hijackers were also doing to them is they would claim that the product was counterfeit, and then they would be suspended or have to write some kind of appeal to it, which, was fascinating to me because I've had that happen before, where I've had to write an appeal for an infringement claim or some kind of used as new or copyright type of thing. Another way that the hijackers were getting to them was by leaving a whole bunch of positive reviews, and what this will trigger on Amazon is they'll basically close that listing down for a number of times, which means that in either of these scenarios, whether the huge onslaught of the positive reviews or getting that counterfeit claim, this leaves an area open where the other people in the market can make moves. So I liked hearing this because when I was suspended there in early 2018, I kind of thought it might have been due to my competition also. Eventually, though, they went through some other channels and a lot of dead ends, and they couldn't change the pictures on the listing because they're Amazon's property, and they couldn't do much with the reviews, of course. But they did, long story short, come along and figure out a way to make things better, basically by creating an entire new listing. So it was sort of ridiculous. But the main takeaway from it was the hijackers use these two techniques with them and with others, but also the idea of commingling inventory. I don't know anybody that commingles inventory, but essentially what that is let's say I have this pair of shoes, and I'm not going to put a sticker on it or uniquely identify it to me. Instead, it's going to go with the rest of the gray free runs. And so it comes to Amazon, Amazon puts it in that same toter area or whatever, and it's considered commingled. The advantage of that is you get faster shipping, faster processing, because they can grab somebody's out in Vegas for an order that's by Vegas, or Maine for an order that's out in Maine. Whereas if you're not commingled, it's going to be your actual product. But that is an easy way that you can run into problems, of course, when you have counterfeit merchandise and other merchandise mingled in with that. So that was probably the single biggest thing to remember to do. And so I don't commingle, I never have. But if you do commingle, you're definitely going to want to consider not doing that. An interesting statistic in the article, though, was that 82% of all sales happen from the buy box. Now, I like that because that's the way I started. I was the other used or new offers doing video games. And I sold a heck of a lot of video games, so I didn't support necessarily the 95% statistic that everybody's throwing around on YouTube and IG. So I like this 82% of all sales happen from the Amazon buy box, because for me and my past experience, I would say that rings true. As I said, it was a fascinating article and probably the biggest bombshell in terms of Amazon insider information. That said, A handful of managers were actually fired in December due to supplying internal data to other sellers for kickbacks. I always held the stance that it's Amazon's land, they can do as they want. When you put their business on their land, you got to play by their rules. So I always keep that in my mind when I'm looking for other streams of income, because I don't want everything attached to Amazon. And this further illustrated that entire point. Now, there was a lot of other details on, well, Amazon's got all this customer data. What do they do with it? Cases that are pending and companies trying to sue Amazon and fascinating things like that. Check out the article for yourself if you want to look into some of that. If you have anything to add to this article though, or maybe you've had those things happen to you, any of that kind of stuff, please share with us in the comments below.